Hello everyone, this is an instructional video for the professional development taking place on February 18th. We will be going through the activities in the green folder entitled Literacy for Content Areas step by step. There are 6 steps in this folder. As we go through each step, I'll say when each step begins and ends for the sake of clarification. If you need to pause the video or take more time to do any step, please feel free to do so. Step 1. Learn about KWL. In order to do step 1, what you will first need to do is click on the green folder. Once you've clicked on the green folder, you will need to go down to the Schoology page right here that is titled Learning About a KWL. When you click on that page, you can read the directions. You will notice once you read the directions that you have a choice about how to learn about a KWL. You can either read about it or you can watch the video. Once you have either read the article about a KWL chart or watched the video about a KWL chart, you will have then completed step 1. Now we are on to step 2. Step 2 says complete the first 2 columns of the KWLS before you follow steps 2 through 4 below. In order to follow this step, you will need to click on the green folder once again. Once you've clicked on the green folder, then you will need to click on the second link titled KWLS. This is a KWL chart that you have just learned about. You will get a little sad face here. Please ignore that. Go ahead and click on the title or this little pop-out button right there. Either one will work. But once you've clicked on that, make a copy of this chart. This is an example of a reading strategy. You could possibly use something like this in your classroom to help promote a pre-reading or post-reading strategy. At this point in time, you will want to look closely at the directions here, including how to title your document, reading the essential questions, reading the directions, and then you will want to fill out the first 2 columns of the KWL chart. I recommend leaving this tab open because at the end of your collaborative team meeting, you will want to come back and fill out the next 2 columns. You will want to submit this activity sometime before February 22nd. The place where you will submit this activity is also located in the green folder. It is the final link right here. So make sure that you are available to submit that activity sometime before February 22nd. On to step 3. Step 3 says, read page 1 to understand the notation of these standards. In order to complete step 3, you will need to click on the green folder once again. Once you are in the green folder, you will need to click on this link entitled Literacy Standards for History, Science, and Technical Subjects, grades K through 12. This is a PDF file. You can either choose to view the PDF embedded in this page, or you can download it for your own personal use. The whole goal of this step is to read this first page here that allows you to view information about the standards that we will be reading in later steps. For this next part, we're going to get a little wild and crazy, which is to say that we're going to do steps 4 and 5 a little bit at the same time. If you're not comfortable with that, do what you will. But I think that they make sense together. Step 4 reads, read the standards related to your grade levels and 1 grade below and 1 grade above. This is good for context. Number 5 says, as you read, consider if the standards intersect with the skills students use or need to use in your course. So as you're reading, also consider. This consideration could be internal or via discussion. So let's go ahead and look at step 4, which is where we can find the standards. Go ahead and click on this green folder once more. You're going to be in the same location that you were in for step 3, which is this Literacy Standards for History, Science, and Technical Subjects, grades K through 12 PDF. So click on that once more. You've already read the first page, and when reading the first page, one of the items that you should have noticed is that each standard is identified by the domain, which will either be writing, reading informational text, or speaking and listening, the grade number, and the standard number. And so as you are reading, you will want to find your grade number and then read the standard for the grade below it and the standard for the grade above it. For example, I teach 9th grade, so when I read these standards, I will find the 9th grade, and then I will read the standard below, and I will read the standard above. And I will do that with every single standard available. This might seem a little overwhelming at first because this is a rather large document. However, once you get going, you'll find that some standards are shorter than others, and that it actually doesn't take that long. As you're going, remember to consider, does the standard feel like it applies to my course? Should it apply to my course? Is this an area that I've been missing? Or is this an area that truly doesn't need this particular standard? Think about these things. They will come into play during step 6. Once you have gotten all the way to the bottom of the document, reading those standards and considering, then you are ready to move on. Welcome to the last step, step 6. This reads, in your PLC 7 through 12 Schoology group, under Resources, you will find a Google Sheet you and your PLC will use to mark which standards you have identified as intersecting with competencies, standards, and skills in your content, field, or course. This is just showing you that the standards that you read in step 4, that you considered in step 5, you are now going to document in step 6. So at this point, what you will do is go to your Schoology group, but I have an example here that I will use that is within the green folder. If you would like to look at the example for our reference, that could be a good idea. It is the 4th link down in the green folder, called Sample of Identifying Relevant Literacy Standards. This is what it could look like if I were an 8th grade teacher. You will notice at the top here there is a legend, and this is the color coding key that I will use to indicate which standards are most relevant to my coursework. You will notice that the only standards that are color coded are the standards that are related to 8th grade, because I am hypothetically in this scenario an 8th grade teacher. Green means that they are the most relevant, and black on the other end of the spectrum means that they are the least relevant or cannot be addressed. At the bottom here, you will notice that this is where you should put different courses within your PLC. You can fill this out as an individual if you are the only person who teaches a particular course in your PLC, or if multiple people teach the course with that person. Even if that person is not in your collaborative team, you could still be filling it out at the same time because Google Sheets allows multiple collaborators.